जय हिंद। मैं जय हिंद करा के जाऊंगा। Put your hands like this. Imagine that the energy of 130 crore people, or rather 140, is within you. Jai Hind! Okay, thank you. You see, I thought that I'll go and talk, deliver a small sort of presentation and talk today. But before I came, my mind was hacked. And all the things that I wanted to tell you have already been covered and spoken. So I have very little to tell you. But having been with the government, most of you would perhaps be aware. For the few who may not be aware, I'd like to tell you that the government has done a lot of things to address this issue, including creation of the cyber security prevention system against women and children. They've created the forensic cum training laboratories, training and hiring of junior cyber consultants. Cyber forensic cum training labs have been commissioned in 28 states. The government has also taken steps for spreading awareness about the cyber crimes, issuing of alerts, advisories, capacity building, training of law enforcement personnel, prosecutors, judicial officers, improving cyber forensic facilities. And they've launched this National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal also. They've created the CERT-in, which everybody is aware of. Security tips have been published. They've issued the guidelines for CISOs. All the government websites and applications are audited with respect to cyber security. CERT-in has empaneled 97 auditing organizations to support and audit the implementation of the information security best practices and large number of other activities. All these are available on the web and I don't need to repeat it. The whole idea is to convey that a large amount of requirement exists. The data for the number of cyber security attacks that have taken place, the ones which have succeeded, the kind of success they've had, the kind of losses that they have inflicted and the potential for further losses, all that has been covered already. The need for cyber law or cyber security law, data protection law, everything has already been spoken about. I will now restrict myself to doing two things, to speak about one or two issues which have not been spoken, because repetition is not the solution for anything. And second is to simplify it as much as I can for the interest of understanding of people like me who are not very intelligent. And for that, I'd like to tell you that I was given the opportunity to operate in counter-terrorist areas. I'm deliberately using that simile so that it becomes very, very easy for you to understand. Now, we had to fight, capture or kill the terrorists. If somebody could tell me the address and the exact identity and which time, where that fellow is going to be, my job will be very, very easy. Neither we had the physical address. Those days there were not even mobiles, forget about digital technology. No digital address, no physical address, no description, no location, no timing. Yet you have to address the problem. And therefore, the first thing that was required was intelligence. This one subject has not been spoken about since morning today. Until and unless you have the correct and complete intelligence of the people who are going to carry out these cyber attacks or ransomwares or anything, you are actually never going to be able to complete your task. Never. And I think more than what you people have already discussed, there is a very serious need for creating both digital and human capacity for intelligence creation which gives you the inputs well in time. And let me explain this to you how it goes. Again, I'll take you back to the counter-terrorist scenario because it is very easy to understand then. Somebody comes and tell you that, look sir, हमारे गांव में टेररिस्ट आता है. How will you go and kill him? कहाँ आता है? फ्रिंज में आता है, बीच वाले घर में आता है, राम सिंह के घर में आता है, सोन सिंह के घर में आता है, कहाँ आता है? You don't know. You don't even know the layout of the house. कब आता है? He comes daily, he comes weekly, he comes once in a while. Most of the time, once in a while, you don't know the time, which day, which time is going to come, which day, which time is going to go out. Whether it comes in ones or twos or groups, you don't know. Whether they equipped with a gun or a machine gun or a bomb or a grenade, you don't know. So, the intelligence or the prior information, the correct information, well in time is very essential. The second thing is to target it. And then the time again comes into play. If you go earlier, the gentleman gets alerted, he does not come. You miss the target. If you go late, he is already come and gone. You again miss the target. The correct time of your attack is very, very essential. So, prior information, timely attack, timely preparation, all these things you have to build into your cyber plan. For that, you require your cyber strategy, very clearly laid out, your cyber laws very, very clearly laid out, your cyber plans, policies clearly laid out, implementation, monitoring of those on a regular basis, very essential. I have seen organizations in last 40 years, especially in this kind of scenario for last 20 years, where they have a strategy, they have a policy. But the implementation wavers. It wavers because they carry out the audit once in a year. Let me tell you, in the kind of era that we are living in today, the threat is not waiting for 1 year to happen. On the contrary, there are threats which have been designed to take place after 2 years, after 1.5 years, after 6 months. At the same time, there are threats which have been planned to be put behind layers and layers and layers so that you can never reach the original fellows taking the action. So, all these things will have to be incorporated into your plans in case you want to succeed in being able to carry out. One thing which I have seen commonly is the lack of complete understanding of the user and the user organization, or the target and the target organization, by the companies, the manufacturing companies, the service providing companies, the various cyber security companies, automation companies, software companies, hardware companies, application companies. They are making things as per their perception. There is a gap between their perception and the actual reality. So please focus on that gap also. Otherwise, you must remember that every air gap which you leave, you actually left a door open. And if you left a door open, then you cannot blame somebody who enters that door without knocking. I will not talk of only 2 or 3 other things which I want to tell you. One is that identity authentication. India has done reasonably well. Large number of measures, everybody is aware, lot of people are implementing, whether it is your multi-factor authentication, ABCD, whatever. Your Aadhaar, your other ways of authentication, mobile, all those kind of things have been done. The major gap which is there, very huge gap which is there, which is unaddressed in most cases, is the gap in the authorization sector. 95% organizations have not, I repeat, not done the authorization at all. The 5% who've done, they've done less than 50%. So if I say that except for an odd organization, 99.9 have not addressed this issue, I am not wrong, sir. And I speak from experience. Take it seriously. Take it very, very seriously. The level and extent of authorization, you'll need to define very clearly. You'll also have to see that in keeping with the constantly upgraded risk assessment and threat perception, you'll need to undertake these. We also need to build the aspects for authentication under duress. I've also seen that large number of IT infrastructure, the compliance with the IT security policies, in some corner, some particular equipment is not compliant, and that itself becomes the gateway. We need to ensure that 100% of your infra, whether it is software or hardware or the applications, everything has to comply with your policy, security policy. The asset management is in most companies and most government organizations not being done. You need to understand that asset management by way of assessment of every particular aspect is essential. The next aspect that I want to address is the asset footprinting. Each of the organization must address the aspect of the asset footprinting, the status as it is today, every day. Its recording is equally essential. Most people, say like your AIMS incident recently, they are not able to find out what's the root cause, and until unless they are able to address the root cause, they have actually not sorted out the problem at all. They'll take years and years, I can tell you, they'll not be able to solve it, because the asset footprinting record is not being kept. It does not exist at all. If it does not exist, you can do nothing about it, you can't create. We need to remember that security is not a batch process. It is a constant, ongoing, real-time process, and we need to do every day, every hour. A yearly audit is not going to help you. Next aspect is the baselining. Again, I find that baselining is one aspect where many people are erring, leading to gaps in the entire system. The minimum requirements for a particular user or a particular asset to join the network or to get access on the network, if it has not been defined, we are in for a difficulty. And most of the cases, most of the times, most of the applications do not comply. The identity lifecycle management of both authentication and authorization are very, very essential. Application based authorization and privileged access authorization are very essential. They will be required for both the decision makers and the system handlers. We need to do that. I'll conclude by saying focus on authorization also as much as you're doing for authentication. And last line is, security is an aspect where forget a door, forget a window, a small hole if left unplugged is a cause of worry. I am sure you all will take note of the essentials. Wish you all the best and thank you for giving this opportunity, especially Dr. Sahu. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And I, with your permission, want to say that very shortly we are forming India National Level Committee for National Cybersecurity and Data Security, and we will be inviting some eminent members. We'll request them to join if they wish to, purely voluntary, and it is a national initiative for the nation in the interest of the nation. Thank you so much. I enjoyed. I will not go until unless you say Jai Hind. Put it like this. Jai Hind! Jai Hind! Jai Hind! Okay, we all are going to work in the interest of the nation. And one slogan which I created, I must tell you, nation first, character must. And as far as the character must is concerned, it is very much, very highly relevant to our sector. Thank you so much.